Hello, Bobby Bones. I've been on my job for 7 years. I've been open with my boss for a long time about wanting to be promoted. I've had multiple conversations, and I'm hearing things like, you're close or it's coming, but it never actually happened. Recently, a promotion opened up, and it went to a coworker who's only been with the company for 4 years. When I asked my boss about it, still didn't get a clear answer. I'm torn. Do I put in another year at this company in hopes I finally get promoted, or do I sign my leave? How do you know when it's time to stop waiting? Signed, Woman in Corporate America. I got a wrinkle there. You've waited long enough, but I think you need to have an understanding of, is it you or is it them? Because if you've been there 7 years and they haven't promoted you, it's a long time. But if you're doing a great job, it is in their best interest to promote you to do a better job to make them more money, generally speaking. Now, unless you have some fight with your boss, and I'm not even doing man-woman stuff now, just generally speaking, act like you don't have a wiener or a vagina, okay? It's just it's a Ken doll.
Got it.
Whatever. If you can make your company more money at a job that makes them more money, they're going to put you in that job to make the company more money, generally speaking, unless you have a fight with somebody. 7 years is a long time to not get promoted. So what you have to now internally try to understand, is it them, which it feels like you think it is here, or is it really you? Because it could be you and you don't notice. What I would do in this situation is I would say, hey, I need you to give me some exact things that I can do in order to be promoted. Because then you can meet those benchmarks, and if you do meet those benchmarks and they don't promote you, that's them. But it just feels so vague right now that it's like, I'm just going to pass it over. You need specifics. I would be upset too. Now, again, I don't know the whole story. But 7 years is a long time. And I feel like regardless of sex, that if somebody could provide more value to the company in a more valuable position, you're moving them up. Because it's the boss's job to make the most money for the company. You can walk, I'm good with it, if you have something else lined up. But what I would do if you're going to stay is say, hey, I'm a little disenfranchised by this. I've been here 7 years. But can you list specific things, benchmarks I need to hit in order to get a promotion? And then if you do that and you don't, they suck. But if you're like, oh, I've not even been close to this, once they give them to you, then maybe you can understand a reason why. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I just feel like the number one thing, we all want to feel valued for our time and what we have to offer. And we would need somewhere to go where we can guarantee that value too. You may go somewhere else, and who knows, if there's a pay cut, then you don't have the time that the tenure, like the 7 years there, and it may take how many years to build back up. So you have to weigh like how long it might take you to finally get promoted where you put in the work than if you transfer somewhere else, because then you're kind of starting over a little bit. So just making sure if you can find a backup plan, that would be great. But I wouldn't just like quit with no plan, unless you're trying to like eat, pray, love it or something.
Yeah, how Stella got her groove back. Go travel the world. See what's up. Also, if your biggest fear is starting over, there's no better time to start over than right this second, because you're starting over now instead of starting over in a year. There's just a lot here. Mm-hmm. I would just say, instead of getting mad at something that maybe you don't have all the information on, get some more information. Because if they're just holding you back because you're a woman, first of all, HR. Second of all, that sucks and you need to get out, because you don't need to be in that kind of leadership. But it could be things you don't even realize because you haven't asked the right questions. So that'd be my advice there. Most bosses aren't looking to hold people back. Most bosses are looking to just keep their own job. And if they can promote people that makes them look better at their own job, they're going to do that because they also want a promotion. That's that on that.
Can I ask you a question about, you said, do people think like, oh, I'm doing my job right, I'm doing a really good job at what I'm asked to do.
Yeah.
But what about like doing above and beyond things? I've worked with people where like they just don't do above and beyond things.
Yeah, I work with people like that too. I'm glad you
not naming any names.
I'm glad you brought that up. What I would say to do also is, if you don't let your people know that you're going above and beyond all the time, they're never going to know, because they're so focused on what their jobs are and they are so underwater with everything that they're doing. They're just going to notice that the wheel keeps turning, more so than who's turning the wheel faster on certain parts of the wheel. So you need to share your successes with your people, because they won't know. Not that they don't care. Big difference. but they won't know because they're so worried about what's happening in their world and their successes and sharing their successes so they don't get fired or they get promoted. So when you have successes, you have to share them upward. And you don't have to be like, look at me.
How do you do that?
You don't have to be like, look at me, but hey, just checking in, was super proud of the way we were able to handle this. Boom, boom, boom. It's all in presentation. But you got to do that because they're not going to notice. Not because they don't care, but because they're so focused on what their job is that as long as the wheel goes around, they're keeping their job. Sometimes some people are pushing harder on the wheel, and those people need to be rewarded. But sometimes you don't know who that is.
Yeah.
So if you don't celebrate you, nobody else will. That's a good question. And I don't know who you're referring to, but I just...
No, it's just a
we'll
blanket,
just check out.
blanket
Just blanket statement about general work. All right, there you go. Close it up.